Good afternoon, everyone. I am super excited to get right into writing today because we are this close to finishing our first book's distance learning style. We'll be doing that tomorrow because we'll be editing and publishing. Today, we're going to do 3 more things. We're going to do our steps title page, we're going to do our steps, and then we're going to do our conclusion. For that, you're going to need the last 3 pages of your book. If you did not print the sheets from the Google Drive, you can use 3 pages of regular lined paper or 3 regular blank pieces of paper, and you can draw some lines on them. You're going to need a fully sharpened pencil with an eraser. All right, and I'm going to show you what all of that looks like on the screen right now. All right, let's get started. Come along with me.
All right, here we are, distance learning materials. Now you're going to go to first grade, because that's us. You're going to go to this first folder, writing. You're going to click on March 30th through April 3rd. And you're going to go to your how-to book. Okay, and today we're going to need all of these pages. And today we're going to work on our title page for our steps on how-to. We're going to work on our steps. And we're going to work on our conclusion. Okay, so for this, you'll need all the pages of the book, even though we're working on just those last 3. You're going to bring your how-to steps plan that you made the other day that looks like this. All right, go ahead and make sure you have all your papers.
All right, we know that good writers write the steps of their how-tos in the correct order. This is so important. And the reason why it's important is because if you don't write the steps in the correct order, your reader is going to be so confused at how to make what you're teaching them to make or how to do what you're teaching them how to do. Okay? Now, because you are the expert on your own books, today you're going to think about the steps that you need to do in order. Think about it. Because we're going to be drawing them and we're also going to be writing them out. Now again, writing the steps in order is so important because if you don't explain it in order, your reader is not only going to be confused, but they might make or do something that you're trying to teach them completely wrong. And that's no bueno. Okay? Another reason it's super important is because your steps need to be so clear that your reader understands how to make or do this thing without you being there to explain it to them. So think for a second about your steps and think about how you're going to explain it or draw it so clearly that if I were just looking at it and reading it once, I would know what to do to make what you're trying to teach me or do what you're trying to teach me. Okay? Take some time and think about that now before we get started. All right, everyone. So the first thing we're going to work on is our steps title page. Now, your steps title page should look like the one on the screen. Or it can look like this. I drew this on my slate. Okay? Now, where it says steps on how to, and there's a line there, you're going to write what you're teaching your reader how to make. So I'm making a turkey waffle witch, and you're going to write yours down. Steps on how to make a turkey waffle witch. Okay, there we go. Now, when you when you get to this page, you're not writing the steps here, you're drawing them. So the best way that Miss Andrews does this so that she stays organized is by separating it into a chart that looks like this. Now the reason I drew 5 squares is because there were 5 steps on our steps page. So you're going to match those with pictures. Okay? All right, now I look back to my steps page, one on the screen. And I look at what my first step is. My first step, okay, I'm mixing all those ingredients. I have all my ingredients. So I have my can of cranberry sauce, my tub of Philadelphia cream cheese, I'm gonna write Philly for short. I have my bread, I have my turkey, and I have a plate, a bowl to mix all of this. I'm going to circle it and put it in the bowl, okay, and a knife. So on this first box, I have my ingredients. I circled them and put an arrow so that they all go into the bowl because I have to mix them. I have my plate and I have my knife. Okay? Now, when I go to my second step, I know that I'm spreading them on each slice of bread. So I have my slices of bread. And as I draw mine, I want you to think of the order of which your steps are going in. You want to be as specific as possible, both in your picture and then when we get to the writing later, okay? So I have my knife, take my bowl with my mixture, spread on each, okay? I want to make sure I cover the whole thing. Okay, so now Miss Andrews is not the best artist, but this is my bowl of ingredients that I mixed from here. I have each slice of bread with a knife and I spread it to make sure I cover each slice fully because that's what I need to do, okay? Then I put the turkey on top. So I have my mixture on the bread. I take my turkey and I'm going to draw an arrow. Okay. And I put them together and I'm going to draw a little square over here. Okay. So these represent my slices of turkey and they're going on each slice, and then I put my pieces of bread together and it's going to make my whole sandwich, which I put right over here. Okay? Then I think what my reader is going to do next. After I put them together, I have to put them in the oven. So I put my picture of an oven. Here's the oven door. And I'm going to put 350 degrees because that's usually what you bake things at. Again, I'm drawing an arrow because that's where it's going, into the oven. And then on my last step, I take it out the oven. So I have to draw the oven again. Take it out, and I get my plate and I cut it in half, and then I get to enjoy. I can't wait. Now I wrote a caption bubble, you don't have to, but see, I took it out of the oven. This line represents that I cut it in half, and this represents my excited face that I get to try it and enjoy it. So in looking at these pictures, my reader is going to have an idea of what they need to do as they read the steps. They're going to be able to make a picture in their mind from what I'm writing, but also match it to my pictures so they know exactly what they're doing. Go ahead and take the time to finish drawing each of your 5 steps, because next we're going to write them out. I'll hold this up to the screen so you can see it. All right, you could pause the video. I'll also include a picture after. All right, now we've come to the moment at last. We are writing out the steps. Here's your moment to shine as a teacher. All right, so as we write our steps, we are thinking of those lovely transition words we have learned in writing across the whole year. Now, to help remind you of some, here is a picture. Okay, now, to start, I have to tell my reader, I have to remind them what I'm teaching them to make, okay? So I'm making a turkey waffle wedge. So I'm going to write, in order to make a turkey waffle wedge, and I'm going to explain to them what they're going to need, okay? So make sure that steps page and your materials page are right beside you because you're going to need them. Looking at my materials page and I'm thinking, I'm writing down exactly what I'll need. You will need soft cream cheese. And as I'm writing my first sentence of what ingredients or materials I need, I want you writing yours down too. You will need soft cream cheese, a 1/4 cup cranberry sauce. Now some of you might be thinking that's so specific of Miss Anjos to put, but you remember, you want to be as specific as possible, because if you're not, your reader's not going to know how much to put in, how often, which means like how many times they should be putting it in. Okay, so you want to be as clear as possible. 1/4 cup cranberry sauce, a tablespoon of syrup, a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, teaspoon of pepper, turkey, and 8 slices of bread. Now that's because I'm making 4 sandwiches. Okay? And you need 2 for each one. Go ahead and finish up your first sentence telling your reader what materials they're going to need. If you don't know the exact measurements, that's okay. You can make an estimate of what your best idea is, just so your reader knows exactly how much and how many times they're going to have to do it. All right, now I can start with those transition words. For my first thing I need to actually do, remember, because I got my materials first, but the first thing I'm actually doing is mixing my ingredients in a bowl except for the bread. I got that from my steps chart. You're using your steps chart to help you, okay? First, you mix all of the ingredients in a bowl minus the bread. Or except the bread. Okay? So you have to visualize, which means picture yourself being in this person's shoes. If you read, first mix all the ingredients in a bowl except the bread. Are you clear on what you have to do? Yep, because the only ingredient I'm not touching is the bread. Okay? Now I'm going to move to my second step. Now again, I'm looking at my steps chart, and now I'm going to stretch it out in my writing. Then you spread the mixture on each slice. Of bread. Make sure you cover the whole slice. Okay. So now I took my ingredients, I mixed it. Okay. I put on each bread. And now, after I've put the mixture on each bread, I have to think, what comes next? Look at my steps chart. That's right. And I go to my next one. Thinking of those transition words. So I'm going to say, after that, put turkey on top of each slice. And I don't just stop there and put the two pieces together. For each sandwich, because remember, Miss Andrews was making 4. Okay. Now I'm looking at my steps plan and I have how many steps left? That's right, 1. So I look at my last step, which is putting in the oven, baking, and enjoying after I take it out. So I think of my transition words and I choose which one I'm going to use. So I'm going to say, finally, you put the sandwiches on a pan in the oven. For 10 minutes on 350 degrees. If you don't know it, that's okay. 50 degrees. Then take out of the oven, cut, and enjoy. All right. So I'm going to hold it up. Okay, So you can pause the video and look at this. I will also include a picture afterwards as well. Okay? All right. Now let's read it to see if it makes sense and see if we're completely clear on what we have to do. Okay, so in order to make a turkey waffle, which you will need soft cream cheese, a 1/4 cup cranberry sauce, a tablespoon of syrup, a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, turkey, and 8 slices of bread. Awesome. I know exactly what I need. First, you mix all the ingredients in a bowl except the bread. Okay? Then I think next, I spread the mixture on each slice. I make sure I cover the slice. After that, I put turkey on top of each slice and put the 2 pieces together for each sandwich. Finally, I put my sandwiches on a pan in the oven for 10 minutes on 350 degrees. And when that's done, I take out of the oven, I cut and enjoy. Now, notice how I stretched out each reason from my steps chart and I explained it so clearly that my reader does not have to be there with me to understand. Make sure your steps do the same. All right, everyone, almost there. So now that you've written and stretched out all your steps and you've done your steps title page with the pictures, we're going to the last thing we're going to do today. So you're going to look at the one on the screen. That's what your paper should look like. Or it could look like this. I drew some lines on my slate because Miss Andros ran out of paper. Okay, now we're going to write our conclusion. Now we need to end our how-tos with a conclusion because we need to tell our reader that now they know how to make or do something that they didn't know how to do before. So think about what you taught your reader how to make or what to do, and now you've given them a whole new experience they didn't have before. That's pretty cool. So I taught you guys how to make a turkey waffle witch. So I am going to say these are all of the steps on how to make, because you're reminding your reader what you taught them, on how to make a turkey waffle witch. And you're going to explain to them that if they follow your steps exactly, they'll be able to make one or do something just the same as you, the expert, can. So I'm going to say, if you follow these steps exactly, then you will be able to make a turkey waffle witch just like me. And that will excite your reader because they want to learn something new, okay? So I'm going to hold this up to the screen so you can pause the video and look at it. I will also include a picture afterwards. All right? Now remember that your handwriting should be as neat as possible. Your tall letters are going above the lines. Your letters that fall are going below the lines. And the middle letters are being hugged by the lines. Make sure you have your punctuation. Make sure your heart words are spelled correctly. And make sure it makes sense. All right. That is all that we are going to be doing for today. So again, today you did 3 things. And tomorrow we're going to edit and publish our books. All right, so until tomorrow.